Okay, quorum is present. Welcome to the last subcommittee meeting of Eat It, Grow It, Pet It. Before crossover, we have one bill in front of us, Delegate Convirs-Fowler.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One second.
Delegate Convirs-Fowler, I believe there's a substitute. Is that correct?
Yes, it's been released and there's a substitute.
I'd entertain a motion to move the substitute. Move the substitute. It's been moved and properly seconded. The substitute, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. All right, the substitute is adopted. Delegate Convirs-Fowler, please explain your substitute to us.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The HB2775 is a bill that was brought to me by farmers, hemp farmers, and small businesses. So this is bill for them. All it does is simply clarify Virginia's definition of hemp product by aligning it with the federal definition. Right now, it can be confusing for producers, for retailers, and consumers. Aligning with a federal standard will provide much more clarity and consistency. This change reduces regulatory burdens and supports our hemp industry's growth. I hope it's the will of the committee to report this bill, and I have subject matter experts here with any technical questions.
Thank you very much, Delegate Convirs-Fowler. I will note for the subcommittee that we have a fairly limited time on our docket today just because we have another subcommittee meeting before full. So I just ask everybody to be brief. In terms of testimony, we will take 2 minutes of testimony for, 2 minutes against. Online, we'll do 1 minute for, 1 minute against. And then Delegate Convirs-Fowler will give you the final word before we vote if there's a motion from the committee. With that, are there any questions from the subcommittee? Seeing none, we will entertain testimony for the bill. Are there those here to testify for the bill? All right, if you're here to testify for or against the bill, please come up. Just stand on either side just so we can operate expeditiously. There seem to be quite a number of folks interested in this bill, so I'd ask you to just be very cognizant of the folks who are behind you and state your name, organization, and give us 1 or 2 sentences to explain your position on the bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to the members of this committee. My name is Eric Spanbauer, and I'm owner of East Coast Collective, a hemp processor in Manassas, Virginia. We employ over 17 Virginians and sell compliant hemp products to over 1,000 hemp businesses in our state. That number has dwindled significantly over the past 2 years since the passage of the Kilgore-Hanger bill. Now, with that bill, I want to be clear. The only thing that we are trying to change is the definition of hemp. There was many things in that bill that we supported as an association, as a company. With that being said, that we are not trying to touch anything to change child safety. We are not trying to change anything into synthetic substances. The only thing we are changing is something that will benefit our farmers, processors, and retailers in our industry.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your testimony. Again, we have about a minute left for testimony, and there's a long line, so please be brief.
Good morning. My name is Barbara Biddle. I'm the owner and founder of District Hemp Botanicals and the Cannabis Small Business Association. After suffering significant losses after the initial change in definition, losses that include damages, layoffs, the loss of access to hundreds of products for my consumers, this bill would be a lifesaver for my business and my consumers. Something I want to strongly emphasize is we do not want to do anything that takes away any safeguards for our community, our children. We want to protect that. None of us want to sell to minors. So as a business owner, as a parent, I strongly support this bill.
Thank you so much. Can you raise your hand if you're going to be testifying against this bill? Can I just see it? One. Okay. Let's go ahead and just open up to the clerk. We'll make it 3 minutes per side. Just give folks a little bit extra time. Thank you. So add another minute once we get through this.
Hello, my name is Nate Miller. I am the Virginia's and the South's first cannabis professor from Rockingham County, Virginia. I have a business, Simply Sustainable Landscapes, and also a family farm in Rockingham County called Onyxford Farms, where we're trying to grow hemp. I support the bill because I think it's going to give us opportunities for small business owners and small farmers like myself, and also my students that hopefully will come out into the workforce and there'll be better business people for it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Go ahead. You all can come on up close. Thank you so much. I'm sorry that we have so much business.
My name is Graham Redfern. I'm the owner of Redfern Hemp Company, based out of Caroline County, Virginia, where I farm industrial hemp. I have a retail location as well on exit 104 in Caroline County, and my kitchen is in Richmond. I employ 12 people, and I do not want to move my businesses to North Carolina. There's a market that everybody's losing out because of the definition of hemp. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
My name's Joe Domino. I've been marketing in this industry for a while, and I actually read all the testimonials. These products really help the customers, and a lot of them have to purchase the products they like online or have to cross state lines. I think the biggest problem is synthetics, and all these small businesses are not producing synthetics. They started this not with a lot of money, but because they love this plant and they love their customers. And making this bill, passing this bill, will allow these companies to grow business in Virginia and compete nationally. Thank you.
Thank you so much. For the last few folks, if you could just state your name, where you're from, and your position on the bill.
My name is Sophia McCann. I'm a student at Virginia Tech, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Meredith Lane. I'm Vice President of the Virginia Tech Chapter of Students for Sensible Drug Policy, and I support this bill.
Thank you so much.
My name is Connor Will. I'm the President of the Virginia Tech Chapter of Students for Sensible Drug Policy, and I support this bill.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, you can.
I'm Cassie Ward. I'm Recovery Chair of Students for Sensible Drug Policy at Virginia Tech, and I proudly support this bill.
All right. Those in opposition, you'll also have 3 minutes. Go ahead. Are you for the bill?
Yes, my name is Evan Samaji. I own 4 retail stores in the Commonwealth, and I support this bill as well.
Thank you so much. All right. Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Chair and members, Tom and Torcio with the Virginia Catholic Conference. We work with a number of organizations advocating for safe policy in regard to drugs. And I wanted to just say that, as I think everyone here on this subcommittee is probably familiar with, this issue, was considered by the General Assembly for over 2 years, resulting in the Virginia Hemp Work Group that was part of the budget negotiations, to which both Senator Barker and Senator Favola were very involved in arriving at the current language. And then that in turn led to the Hanger-Kilgore bill, which is the current law, also was supported by, for example, Senator Favola and Senator Barker, as I understand. And so there was just a lot of consideration by the General Assembly with extensive public testimony and comments from the industries, from all sides, agriculture. It was a huge work group. I mean, they met several times, at least I think 6 or 7 times, and produced a report. And so, changing what we did as a deliberative body for 2 years, in this fashion is probably not the best step. Thank you so much. Be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Chairman, quick question for the...
Go ahead, Mr. Chair.
When we passed the hemp reform bill, did we change the THC level from 0.3, or is it still the same?
So, Delegate Lopez, Mr. Chair, Delegate Lopez. So the negotiation of the language was such that we are no longer, akin to what the federal standard is, which is 0.3% by dry weight. So let's back this up. So in the cannabis plant, right, if you are at below 0.3%, by federal definition of the 2018 Farm Bill, that is hemp, if it's less than 0.3% THC. If it's more than 0.3% THC, it's defined as Delta 9 THC. So what our law does, and that was, by the way, this has been in place, this result that we have on our books right now has been the result of efforts more than just 2 years, because Danny Marshall had a bill that brought Virginia alongside the federal requirements. And then, of course, we had our 2 years of extensive testimony. What I would just like to say is, apart from the process, is just this, is maybe a better way, because I think we all, and I know the delegate is concerned about this, is maybe a better way to approach this is through a work group and to evaluate where are we with enforcement of the current law and how can we move forward to a solution that works for all parties, that is, supported by all parties. That seems to me to be the way to go. I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Delegate.
All right, thank you. Seeing no further questions from the subcommittee.
Mr. Chair.
The delegate will have the last word. Go ahead.
Well, Mr. Chair, I was just going to ask if our expert could answer the question about the percentages. We do have an expert that could possibly answer that question a little more clearly.
Delegate Lopez, did you want another answer to that question?
That'd be fine.
Okay. Go ahead.
Delegate Lopez, could you please ask me that question?
Oh, Delegate, the chair.
Chair, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No problem. Go. I think the delegate was asking about this current status of the THC definition federally and in Virginia.
So the current status.
Did I get that right?
Oh, we just passed a hemp reform bill,
right?
That went through an exhaustive process, and I'm just trying to figure out what the differences are between what this legislation is calling for in terms of 0.3 THC versus what we currently have in Virginia code.
So currently in Virginia code, we require 0.3% THC or less, same as federal law. However, we require that in a 25-to-1 ratio of CBD to THC. What all that does is hurt our farmers and processors, where the farmer who, let's say, was selling a pound of hemp for $1, the processor now takes on additional cost to process that product into a refined or distilled product. Now that farmer is getting 75 cents per pound of hemp. And therefore, everyone in the chain is getting hurt and then hurting the businesses. But to answer that question, the 0.3% is the same. Virginia just has a specific ratio along with that 0.3%.
All right. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Delegate Runyon. I see you up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A question of the patron, Mr. Chair. I would like to understand better. This seems a very significant change from our existing regulatory model. I'd like to better understand how the products will be regulated in the future. Will that continue to be with VDACs? And it would be interesting to hear what their thoughts and opinions are on this proposal. Mr. Chair, I will share that I'm very concerned that the upper limits that were part of this bill that were addressed 2 years ago seem to be avoided, and that is of a significant concern for me personally. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Delegate. Do we have a representative here from VDACs? Yes. Yep, come on up, please. We'd love to have you opine on this bill. I think I would define Delegate Runyon's question as please opine. Let us know what you think.
Hello, Mr. Chairman and committee. My name is Nakia Thomas. I'm the program manager for the Office of Hemp Enforcement at VDACs. And I would love to provide some context around the impact of these changes. And so typically in our program, we do assess violations to products that do not have the correct ratio of CBD to THC to ensure that products are safe for consumers. And so our concern is public safety. Our concern is that this change will open up the marketplace for variations of products. There is an addition to Delta 9 in the definition, which excludes synthetic cannabinoids such as Delta 8, Delta 10, HHC, which can be very harmful to consumers. And so our concern is public safety in this change. Our concern is that this will open up the marketplace to highly intoxicating products.
Thank you. Delegate Lopez. Let's just stay there.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question for the expert from VDEX. So would you say that expanding hemp without expanding the entire plant regulation is going to create disparities and more public health concerns as hemp-derived derivatives attempt to replace THC?
Could you repeat that question?
I'm curious about whether or not if we expand this without expanding the entire plant regulation, are we actually going to create some disparities that will actually harm health because of the derivatives that are going to be in the market and the fact that they're going to try to replace overall THC?
So I would say yes. I would say that this creates products that can hit the marketplace that can have THC content up towards 15%.
15%.
15%. And what I mean by that is they could have up to 15% of Delta 8, Delta 10, HHC. So this exclusion of other isomers would create a concern for VDEX and how we regulate these products.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't see any other questions from the subcommittee. I will say, Delegate, based on the conversations that are happening up here, I imagine this bill may stall here. I wonder if that happens.
Mr. Chair, could I answer the question?
Hold on a second, please. I'll give you the final word. I just want to ask you if that goes that way, would it be helpful to have a letter that just pushes us towards having a study to look through that? Is that something that would be helpful?
I mean, the will of the committee, be it what it is, I just wanted to be able to answer the questions or the experts, because, Mr. Chair, all those things are not allowed already. We didn't change any of that. We didn't allow any synthetics. We didn't change any of that. None of that was changed. The experts can explain that better. I've had to understand quite a bit by a lot of infographics and discussions, but this definition that we have included in this bill is not helpful, and we're trying to clean it up technically just to be able to, we're not changing anything else. None of those things are going to be allowable. They are already not allowable. So, Mr. Chair, I urge anyone to ask questions if they have questions, because there are people that will explain it here, because those things that were said were not accurate.
Thank you, Delegate. Is there something specifically inaccurate that you wanted to flag, Delegate Fowler? Because happy to have somebody come up and.
Of course, I would love to have phone a friend if that would be allowable.
We'll entertain like 30 seconds. So if you can just give us the quick version, and then we'll move to give Delegate Fowler the final word for 30 seconds, and then we'll entertain motions. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair Helmer. So we're trying to find the place specifically in the Kilgore-Hanger bill right now, but in that bill there is language that outlaws the production and sale of synthetic substances such as Delta 8, HHC. Those products haven't been in our market since the passage of the Kilgore-Hanger bill, and we don't intend to see them come back.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Delegate Fowler, you got the final word? Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, one example that I wanted to bring up was if you take non-alcoholic beer, which is 0.05%, you'd have to drink a whole lot of it. Cases and cases to even feel, you could feel an effect from it, but you still could feel an effect from it, but it would take cases and cases. So really with stakeholder input, the Commonwealth attorney's input, we had isolated that taking out that on the substitute, that second part about the ratio was the best way to address the issue. So with that, I don't know if they're here, but I know that was feedback that we were given by them, and that's why we ended up changing the bill. So thank you, Mr. Chair, and I hope if there are any more questions, we can clarify, because we do have a lot of people here that are willing to clarify that businesses depend on it.
Thank you,
Mr. Chair.
Convirs-Fowler. The committee operates by motion.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I have a motion.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move that we gently lay HB 2775 as substituted on the table and also have a letter sent to the Commissioner of VDAX requesting further study of this really important issue.
All right, it has been moved to lay the substitute on the table with a letter to VDAX to engage in further study to clarify this definition. Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded to lay this bill gently on the table with a letter to the Commissioner of VDAX. The clerk will open the rolls. All right, thank you. The clerk will close the rolls. Thank you, Delegate Convirs-Fowler, for bringing this forward. The bill is gently laid on the table with a vote of 10-0. The committee will rise.